Good evening, viewers from wherever you're watching us from. This is QTV News coming to you live from our studios on Kairawa Avenue, and I am Julden Jai. Here are the headline-making stories. Millions of pilgrims, including Gambians, on Sunday converge at Mina in Saudi Arabia as Hajj 2023 begins in Mecca. Now, officers of the Gambia Immigration Department intercepted at least 63 Senegalese, Gambian and Guinean nationals who were bound for the Canary Islands. The Interior Minister, Siaka Sonko, has issued a statement on the commemoration of the International Day Against Drug Abuse and Illicit Drug Trafficking, also refers to as World Drug Day. Now, the Drug Law Enforcement Agency, Delhi, commemorated the International Day Against Drug Abuse and Illicit Drug Trafficking, also called World Drug Day. In international news, from China, we hear how the giant panda is respected and a tool for diplomacy. Those were the headlines, and now the news in detail. Hello, and this is QTV News in case you're just joining us, and I am Julden Jai. Millions of pilgrims, including Gambians, on Sunday converge at Mina in Saudi Arabia as Hajj 2023 begins in Mecca. Babukar Sise is with the pilgrims in Mina, and he now reports.
Pilgrims left Makkah on Sunday evening and camped at Mina, which is located 8 kilometers from Makkah. Mina is important because it is the place where Prophet Ibrahim was ordered to sacrifice his son Ismail in a dream by Allah. Pilgrims will stay here for the whole day, praying and asking for Allah's forgiveness. Pilgrims will leave Mina tonight and converge at Arafah to witness the most important day of Hajj.
We are getting ready for Arafat tomorrow, which is the big day. Anybody who doesn't go to Arafat doesn't have Hajj. So we are preparing for that, and we are praying that everybody gets Hajj Mabrur, and everybody, even the sick, will be carried, will be brought to Arafat in wheelchairs, in ambulances, and we hope that we are all going to camp in Arafat tomorrow, inshallah.
Mina contains the Jamarat, the 3 stone pillars which are pelted by pilgrims, placating Anabila Ibrahim's action to chase away Shaitan. Also known as the City of Tents, the open space in the valley is covered with tents as far as the eyes can see and has the capacity to hold up to more than 3 million people. It is the largest tented city in the world.
Arafah is a big day, and it's a day that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala accepts Hajj and forgives our sins. And we are fully prepared and we are fully confident because the guides for the team for Tiwawan Travels and Tours, they have been with us throughout the journey and explaining the step-by-step of Hajj. So I'm fully confident that I have done all that needed to be done.
If you look around, here you cannot differentiate who is rich and who is poor. Everybody is equal. This is Islam, and this is what Islam is calling for. We are praying for everybody here and abroad and at home. And we are also seeking for you at home to pray for us so that Allah will guide us to perform our Hajj proper and answer to all our prayers.
It is also at Mina that the ram sacrifice for Eid al-Adha or Tobaski will be slaughtered on Wednesday. Babukar Sise, QTV News, Mina, Saudi Arabia.
May Allah answer all their prayers. Now, officers of the Gambia Immigration Department intercepted at least 63 Senegalese, Gambian and Guinean nationals who were brought to the country by smugglers bound for the Canary Islands. I was there, and this is my report. With a population of over 2 million, the Gambia is one of Africa's smallest countries. Despite its size, regular and irregular migration play a significant role in Gambian society. Remittances of an estimated 118,000 Gambians living abroad account for over 20% of the country's gross domestic product. For many years now, the pursuit of socio-economic advancement, especially among the youth, has driven many to undertake irregular migration, mainly to Europe. over 35,000 Gambians arrived in Europe by irregular means between 2014 and 2018, according to IOM. Commenting on those apprehended this weekend, Superintendent Mamanding S. Diba, Gambia Immigration Department's Public Relations Officer, says they started investigation, having received a tip-off last week.
We've been monitoring the situation for a while until early Saturday morning that we decided to hit a hideout somewhere around Batakunku. When the raid was conducted on this particular hideout, we have successfully managed to arrest 63 people, all young people and all male. When they were arrested, in their possession, they were found with some foodstuff, water, boat engine, and some personal effects. As we speak, the preliminary investigations have revealed that 44 were Senegalese, 17 were Gambians, and 1 Bissau Guinean. The alleged mastermind, rather, of this whole arrangement, who is called Mr. Banda Jau, is also believed to be a Senegalese.
Piero Diba describes the boat that the would-be migrants intended using.
The boat that they intend to use for this regular migration movement to the Canary Islands happens to be a wooden canoe and also a 60 horsepower engine. The boat, the investigators have come to discover, is coming from a place in Senegal called Elinkin.
The Immigration Department's PRO advised young people to use the regular channels to travel. Diba went on to highlight some of the challenges hindering their work.
When you ask about the laws governing smuggling of migrants in this country, this is something that is not yet criminalized in our country. This is a gap, and this is giving us a problem. But we felt that all is not lost, because we are having some very good laws that are proposed laws that is coming to be passed to the National Assembly, we believe, very shortly. And if bills should be passed into law, this is going to take care of most of these gaps.
Although many of those making irregular journeys setting off from the Gambia have included some non-Gambians, Superintendent Diba says the GID does not discriminate against people based on their nationality, and that they will arrest anyone found violating the law. For QTV News, I am Julden Jai. The Drug Law Enforcement Agency, the Gambia, recorded 1,629 cases involving 1,665 accused from January 2021 to April 2023. Interior Minister Siaka Sonko made these remarks ahead of the commemoration of the International Day Against Drug Abuse and Illicit Drug Trafficking, also referred to as World Drug Day. International Day Against Drug Abuse and Illicit Drug Trafficking, also refers to as World Drug Day, is commemorated annually on the 26th of June. This day is used by anti-narcotic institutions and partners across the globe to reflect and draw public attention to their achievements over the years, the challenges they face in handling drugs and related activities, and to educate and sensitize the public about the dangers of illicit drug trafficking and abuse. This year's theme, People First, Stop Stigma and Discrimination and Strengthen Prevention, highlights the importance of implementing a balanced, integrated multi-sectorial approach between supply suppression and drug demand reduction. The findings of the 2021 World Drug Report shows a worrying trend for Africa, as the continent is projected to account for 40% of an estimated 11% global increase in drug use by 2030. Similarly, the report indicates that a substantial disconnect between real risks and public perception regarding the usage of cannabis. It states that while the potency of cannabis quadrupled, there was a 40% decrease in the number of youths who perceive it to be harmful. In 2019 alone, it is revealed that drug use killed almost 500,000 people across the globe. The situation continues to aggravate as drug traffickers continue to use sophisticated methods to traffic their illicit products. Gambia is no exception to this worrying trend. Here is Siaka Sonko, Gambia's Interior Minister.
The agency also seized almost 6 tons of cannabis, close to 4 tons of cocaine, and more than 18,000 assortments of controlled drugs, ranging from ecstasy, diazepam, clonazepam, methamphetamine, bronazepam, among others. At the same time, D-League equally sees significant quantities of hashish, skunk, and kush for the said period.
The country's only psychiatric hospital continues to report increasing number of drugs-related admissions and treatment cases.
As a government, we will ensure that we capacitate and equip D-League to implement a balanced strategy in solving the world drug problem in tandem with internationally recognized standards. Let me emphasize that while we remain committed to promoting the theme of this year's commemoration of putting people first, promoting access to treatment, and strengthening prevention initiatives, we are equally determined to ensure that we dismantle any organized crime or criminal network that may emerge in our jurisdiction.
Minister Sonko calls for collective work towards combating misinformation, increasing public awareness, and strengthening efforts to dismantle criminal syndicates. For QTV News, I am Julden Jai.
The report there will take us to a short commercial break. When we return, we have some more local international news stories for you. Just stay tuned.
What are you calling on? Calling Koron? Look at you, man, in the Afghanistan Koron. So it's a fine law. Okay.
ay kodo kenya na nado kodo kamaja je sa ina da na fo en kudi furi hey nga kodo bala kada falina akoy damale be je ni may sama no ngatu je atata falina
Assalamu alaikum. Baru kota ni kodo ta janta yo ni bari kodo man nyanta ko di kendo rendila ngi kodo mon be da jibe kodo fam jibe jol jibe be faram faram fayla ni jibe ya ja mon be da iba falin nale central bank ye memfo inal tolier yal safi ye memfali al yalo iko clean note policy ko di kendo al kalmol jowala yin kodi furi ngo kodi fundu alka mol sigal ka di mol man betea ibe nyi mutalal e kodi kendo di ni wote memba kunna tole te ala bita central bank andu memba kunna tole e kana van dole ta de bole so janno bebe ta raje ko do mutaya
munena tawolantele yalo nko e nyanta kodi kendo di
ñina mu siloti men ñanta kake alkali al luwaye men fo alkali barawna ko di kendo alkali waldi mol alyama
Welcome back. You're reminded that you're still watching QTV News and I am Julden Jai. And now to the rest of our stories. The Drug Law Enforcement Agency, Delhi, commemorated the International Day Against Drug Abuse and Illicit Drug Trafficking. This day is aimed at raising awareness of the major problems that illicit drugs represent to the society. Lena E. Igwenyiba tells us more.
Created by the United Nations on December 7, 1987, the International Day Against Drug Abuse and Illicit Trafficking, also called World Drug Day, is marked on June 26 by communities all over the world, including in Gambia, to create an opportunity to increase awareness of the negative impact of illicit drugs and draw public support for the fight against illicit drugs. Alhaji Bakari Gassama is the Director General of D-League.
The theme for this year's commemoration is People First, Stop Stigma and Discrimination and Strengthen Prevention. The theme highlights the significance of prevention and treatment initiatives in solving the world drug problem. However, I must state that we as a management will not be distracted, nor will we be frustrated in fulfilling our mandate and promoting organizational excellence. I will therefore encourage the public to also maintain the same trajectory and collaborate with us in countering all forms of misinformation.
Frequently, the message has been about punitive measures for those involved with illicit drugs. However, this year's campaign aims to raise awareness about the importance of treating people who use drugs with respect and empathy, providing evidence-based, voluntary services for all, offering alternatives to punishment, prioritizing prevention, and leading with compassion. The campaign also aims to combat stigma and discrimination against people who use drugs by promoting language and attitudes that are respectful and non-judgmental. Mahmoud Mbenga, brand ambassador of D-League, explained his story of drug addiction recovery.
At the age of 15 years old, I started smoking all types of tobacco and got addicted to other illicit drugs, which triggers a negative change to my life and committed me to be very, very aggressive, violent, and a daily troublemaker. After the wind of change, I decided to voluntarily engage the public in partnership with D-League to participate in public advocacy and share my story as a motivational tool in order to inspire those involved in illicit drugs.
Hassan Tangara, the Permanent Secretary at the Ministry of Interior, speaking on behalf of the D-League Board of Governors, underscored the role of society and gave a word of advice to young people.
We must understand that society has a very important role to play in the crusade on drugs and related activities. As families, let us teach our children values and life skills. We should love and support our children so that they can grow up to be healthy and responsible adults who are not a threat to society because of their conduct and behavior. For the children and youth, be responsible to yourself and your friends. Aside from studying and playing together, inform each other about the dangers of illicit drug trafficking and abuse.
According to the Global Organized Crime Index, the Gambia is also a major transit hub for cocaine trafficked from South America to European markets. Tons of cocaine moving via maritime shipments and airports have been seized in the country. The Drug Law Enforcement Agency, the Gambia D-League, is an autonomous security entity responsible for enforcing, regulating, coordinating, and controlling all matters related to illicit drug trafficking and abuse in the Gambia. Reporting for QTV News, I am Lena E. Gwenyiba.
The 26th of June each year is observed as the United Nations International Day in support of victims of torture. On Monday, the Women's Association for Victims Empowerment, WAVE, organized an event to commemorate the day through arts and culture. Loli M. Kamara was there, and this is her report.
According to the organizers, the aim of the event is to speak out against the crime of torture and to honor and support victims and survivors throughout the world. In the Gambia, the Women's Association for Victims Empowerment, WAVE, organized a series of events, including arts and culture, to mark the day. Victims and other invited guests marched from Bond Road to the Never Again Arch in Banjul. Priscilla Yago Sise, WAVE Senior Technical Advisor and co-founder, gave a brief background of the association.
We were born out of the transitional justice process, and we have seen expanded to be working not just with victims of human rights violations, but also with women and communities in order to be able to support them, not just through the TJ process, which is ongoing, but also in different areas of their lives as well in the Gambia.
Saturday, the UNDP country rep, on behalf of the UN Residence Coordinator, highlighted the important role UN is playing in ensuring victims are supported.
The UN continues to support the transitional justice process and mechanisms, including supporting the victims and also violation need to face and access justice and make sure that there's no recurrence of such actions.
Mariam Singate, Senior State Counsel at the Ministry of Justice, and Mansour Diop, a representative from the National Human Rights Commission, respectively, highlighted the importance of the day.
As part of our implementation and institutional reform agenda, the Attorney General's Office and the Ministry of Justice wishes to reassure the general public that all our initiatives are carried out through a consultative process.
The National Human Rights Commission calls on the government as the principal duty bearer to remember torture cases documented during the hearings of the TRRC, which led to loss of life as well as a long life injuries that are still to date being experienced by victims of torture.
Madam Yago Sise is delighted that her association is able to organize this event for the first time.
Even though it is a commemoration, but we're also using the opportunity to raise awareness and to stand in solidarity with victims of torture, and also to commend the government. As you may be aware, the government has recently passed the anti-torture law, so this is also another milestone for the Gambia.
Modungom, a victim of the April 14, 2016 arrest, also states how he felt in taking part in the event.
Torture is a trauma. It traumatized me because they tortured me. I lost my left eye in NIA here, opposite the High Court backway gate, NIA headquarters. I was there with my colleagues, and then they take us to Bambadinka.
On this day, other stakeholders such as the French Embassy and the UN Office of the High Commissioner for Human Rights expressed solidarity with and support for the victims and their families who have all been through difficult moments. They also used the occasion to call on the government to promote and protect human rights for all and the absolute prohibition of torture as enshrined in the Prevention in the Torture Act 2023. For QTV News, Lolly M. Kamara.
Okay, I'm afraid that's all we got time for, but before we leave, we have a quick note here. President Adama Barrow has announced Wednesday and Thursday, 28th and 29th of June, respectively, as public holidays throughout the Gambia in observance of the Muslim feast of Eid al-Adha. President Barrow wishes Muslims in the Gambia and abroad a blessed Eid on behalf of the government, the people of the Gambia and the First Family. Well, I'm afraid that's all we have for you in this bulletin of the news. Join us at 10 p.m. for another bulletin. Many thanks indeed for the pleasure of your company, and do have a lovely evening. Bye-bye.